Good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we are here to discuss some motherfucking wrestling. All right, AEW's Dynamite, February 18th, 2026. I hope everyone's having a great one. However you are catching this, whenever you are catching this, I had a great time watching this Dynamite. I also had some other things to have a great kickoff, right, to begin some of these viewing segments. This is the last day that your boy is gonna be working for the week. Let's fucking go. Finally get a good break. That should be good. I will be making sure to get to not only SmackDown but Collision airing today and tomorrow. Your boy is going to be fully locked in for his off day, and I can guarantee you there is not going to be a match I will miss. Now, getting directly into this Dynamite, we are going to be discussing Jon Moxley and Mark Davis. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I love Mox. I love Mox as much as the next guy. Jonathan Moxley is a great wrestler. This nigga Mark Davis is probably one of the best big men I've seen in a little bit. I love Brody. Brody's great. He's a little weathered, all right? Mark Davis, he's hungry, all right? He's fresh, and he's a new face, all right? He's exactly what this company, I'm not gonna lie, whatever like this light division heavyweight thing that they're trying to kind of form with these continental challenges, whatever this is, Mark Davis fits cleanly in the middle of this. Listen, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. I really wanted Mox to win. I did. but when Mark Davis was getting some of them chops off, bro.
Smack your goddamn daddy!
Oh man. Ooh. Oh my gosh. Listen, Mark Davis does a great job, all right, at just pushing the absolute shit out of Moxley for a good portion of this match. And then he shatters his hand. He shatters his fucking hand. Mark Davis, he delivers a right hook to like to the apron post, and he to the ring post, and he fucking smashes his hand, and his hand is swollen and leaking for the next 20 fucking minutes. It's crazy. It's insane, bro. And Mox, he delivers a really clean performance with this. Again, he works on the hand. Obviously, a hand, the part of the story. I have no idea if that was intentional or not. But, out of everything that was verbally called in this match, I think was all executed very smoothly. I think Mox is the ace. He starts Dynamite. This is your flagship show, if you would, right? This is what you're supposed to be displaying at a random AEW taping, just to draw on the random nobodies. Moxley, Mark Davis, great fucking match. Mark Davis, I don't know if that was scripted or what, but I'm telling you, there's at least a good 2,000 bump who's seen Mark Davis break his fucking hand and instantly switch over to AEW. I like to be conservative with those numbers because I think we all know I can't physically participate in the viewership with either of these shows. So I kind of just, try to eyeball everything and call it as down the middle as I can. All right. But Moxley does end up going over. Doesn't take a lot of finishers either. I think it seems to take a lot of finishers. It was like a reversal on a Death Rider. Then Mox found a way to put him directly into like that bulldog choke. Mark Davis couldn't take it anymore, bro. That was a really strong opening match. And I'm not gonna lie, that nigga Mark Davis, he's I don't know, invincible? Would invincible be the right word?
God, he's become invincible. He has no weaknesses now. He even shrugs off Hamill like it's nothing. He's won, and he knows it.
He is great. He is hard hitting. He is strong style, and this is exactly what you need to open up your show. All right. Next segment, we get Stokely and FTR. Now, a lot of people are souring on this FTR title run, and I'm not gonna lie, we can have a conversation about Tony Khan's title booking. It's not the best. He'll just put a bunch of titles out there, which is like, it's not the best. What he can really work on is stories, right? There isn't a story with this whole like FTR and Bucks thing. Now, is it gonna be a good match? Duh. FTR is one of the best fucking tag teams in the world right now. Like, pound for pound, they are one of the best tag teams in the world right now. The Young Bucks, they have this flashy glow, like they have this flashy surfer gimmick back. I forget what they originally called it, but their old kind of aesthetics are back, so it makes for a very visually pleasing matchup. With FTR being all gray and dull, and it's cool. It's fun for what it is. I really did want this to be Jet Speed though. I really would have loved Jet Speed versus FTR for the World Tag Titles. Man, oh, that would have been great. That would have been great. That would have been fucking amazing, man. That would have been fucking amazing. All right, I gotta stop thinking about it because I'm just gonna keep getting upset about it. Oh man, oh that Jet Speed FTR pop, man. Oh, okay, we gotta just keep going forward. The Young Bucks kick Stokely out of his wheelchair. I popped. That was pretty funny. And we are going to give all due respect, all right, to Stokely, all right, because Stokely, all right, unlike an Intercontinental Champion on the other brand, is on TV, injured or not.
Folks, where's the lie?
And this feels different, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, and god damn it, if he needs to take a bump, he'll take it, injured or not.
Better be some tendies or some nuggies.
Of course.
Wonder who we're talking about. I really loved everything after this though with the Fatal 4-Way. I cannot get over Willow Nightingale and Megan Bain Graps. Those two are so fucking great. Willow Nightingale, she does need a worthy opponent, and if it's not going to be Athena, you know, then it needs to be Megan Bain, no questions asked. I mean, we even get like small Marina and Megan Graps, which I think just for a long term, that's beneficial. Like Marina Shafir and Megan Bain Graps, that's great. They even did this thing where like they were exchanging elbows, and Marina she started taking body shots, and I'm just like, oh Marina, the woman that you are. Oh Marina, the woman that you are. She is a wrestler, right? Marina Shafir is great. Mina Shirakawa also, she definitely displays some world title like worthy fucking prowess. I cannot believe that the tag division is filled with women like Willow Nightingale and Mina Shirakawa and Marina Shafir. Like, these are all tag teams. Like, this is, oh man. Okay, let's take a quick timeout for a second. Tony Khan hasn't been booking Athena wonderfully. Now, 1,000-day world champion. Nobody can take that away from her. She is a part of one of the most prestigious wrestling companies' longest championship reigns. That is not to be ignored, and that is not to be slighted at all. What I can't ignore is that a Wednesday night Dynamite wouldn't be 10 times as more explosive with an Athena. You know what I mean? And she's not here. And I got people like Willow Nightingale, and I love Harley Cameron like I love a breath of fresh air. But Harley Cameron paired up against a Willow Nightingale when she is the TBS champion. I think it would be different if there were just Babes of Wrath tag. Like, I think it would be different if like there were Babes of Wrath tag titles doing their thing. But the TBS title, I feel like that should be given a little bit more kind of oomph, especially if the women's world title, for lack of a better word, it doesn't really get a story. It's just kind of like good graps, which is like, hey, world title. Niggas need to get out there and get a bag. I get it, right? Good graps. But I really want the secondary titles to have like a little something. And I can't get behind the whole like TBS just kind of nowhere yet. And I also can't get behind the Theta ROH pure title nowhere really, right? There's nothing really there for real. The tag titles, they're kind of being split up right now. I don't know. Well, I'm thinking about it. I wonder if the tag titles were an amazing move, because maybe, just maybe, there are too many belts. Maybe there are too many belts. Listen, I would love if we got people defending their titles, their solo titles in solo feuds, and maybe on the back foot, right? We get the trio stuff. But even with like Hangman and Ready Set Hordio, whatever, yeah, or even like with Hangman and Ready Set Rodeo, right? Like that's a trios tag. Like, they're trios tag champions. You know what I mean? And it's like, why is Hangman, the guy in the world title scene, a part of the trios division? You know, I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around it. And I really only think about this when I see Mina Shirakawa, when I see Megan Bain, when I see Marina Shafir. I feel like these are all individual Willow feuds we could be getting. No, am I crazy? I feel like the demand should be going up against another faction for those trios titles. No, No, instead of the world champion, maybe in Hangman Adam Page. No, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's all I really felt about like the politics of this Fatal 4-Way. It was a great match. It was a really good match. Really good match. Like a very, very good match. Willow Nightingale is a perfect powerhouse to counter Megan Bayne. Again, the matchups that we got between Willow and Megan, Willow and Marina, even at sometimes Megan and Marina, Megan and Mina, it was just good. Good graps. Wrestling is never going to be the downside of any of these Dynamites, right? We also get a really nice piece of news that Thunder Rosa, all right, my in kayfabe 3-time IWGP Women's Champion, is coming back to Collision this week. I am so fucking hyped. I cannot wait for Thunder Rosa to make a fucking appearance. She's going to have a match against Julia Hart. Big credit to Julia Hart for being the person that this former world champion post-injury, just shows how much trust they have in Julia, how much trust they have in the Sisters of Sin, right? Because honestly, if you want to talk about it, they are kind of the Judgment Day of the AEW. They wrestle 9 times out the week if you need them to. It is what it is, right? It was a very good piece of news. And I'm not going to lie, going into this Hangman segment, all right, it definitely, all right, for lack of a better word, it wet my whistle, if you want to say that. All right, this is a really good piece of news. JF and Hangman segment, all right? Now, truthfully, I didn't hate this segment. I think Hangman is kind of cornering the whole like liberal blue sky market. It is what it is. Truthfully, he has lost that entire fan base due to his own kind of choices, but we're not going to go there, not going to open that can of worms. What I really want to discuss is the stipulations, or the lack thereof stipulations of what I could say. Hangman says, that MJF has this dire need for fan approval, right? So he says that the fans should choose their match. And, after the crowd starts chanting for a little bit, I didn't hear this, but MJF is so great, bro. He literally fucking like berates the crowd because he says, I'm hearing Texas Deathmatch, and they start cheering, and then he's like, shut up. It's very funny. It's actually like very, very funny. After this, they discussed that they're going to choose a stipulation next week on Dynamite, I believe, or is it next week on Revolution? I believe
I'm not too sure. Honestly, I'm not too sure. I don't think it's going to be on Revolution. The match is probably going to be at Revolution. Maybe the stipulation is going to be next week. Saying all this to say, I am looking forward to whatever these two can put together match-wise. The Hangman will be winning the championship with Ospreay returning, setting up an Ospreay and Hangman 2. I don't know the likelihood of that. I don't know the likelihood of anything. By the effects of this main event, quite literally anything could fucking happen towards the end of this night. We are going to move steady fast into our tag match between Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd, Orange Cassidy, and the Stone Bulldog, Tomohiro Ishii. This match was very fun. Very fun. I'm not gonna lie, Tomohiro Ishii and Kidd, that's enough. That's enough for me. That's enough. Hey, call me a mark. Call me whatever the fuck you want. That is enough for me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. We get a big shout out to Shibata, the GOAT, the king himself. I love that, being that Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd both trained in their dojo. I'm not gonna lie, while we have 2 seconds to spare, I don't know what the fuck's going on with Hook. I don't know what's going on with Hook. There should be like a secession arc, or there should be like some kind of like secession arc for the ops. I don't know. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Shibata. It's not bad. I wouldn't have hated that. Hook versus Shibata, I'd watch. Niggas probably would hate it. I'd watch. I don't know what's going on here. But what I do know is that Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd, they end up getting fucked over, all right, by Darby Allin, all right? Now, despite all the strong style that, Tomohiro Ishii and Gabe Kidd happened to put on, it really didn't rival, that just, indomitable spirit of Orange Cassidy. He does end up picking up the win over Clark Connors after, getting Darby Allin. After Darby Allin gets to jump on Gabe Kidd. I believe they're going to be doing a Darby Allin and Gabe Kidd rematch, which is like, okay, like, all right, we're doing this instead of Athena matches. All right, I just gotta fold my hands and keep quiet. This is how I feel about that. All right, next match on the card. All right, we have the Flying Birds, I believe, of Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor versus, all right, I actually forget their names, unfortunately, but these two lovely ladies, they put on a nice showing for what it is. Somewhat of a squash match, no disrespect to these two. I also do want to add that Daniel Bryanson is only getting better and better at putting over rookie talent, being that I really do think his comments on, what was it? It was some guy he made a comment on that had like a 30-second match with MJF. He took like 2 seconds to reflect on himself. He was like, I just fucking buried this kid on live television, and this could be a potential world champion, right? So I love Daniel Bryanson on the comms. He has a really great job of just naturally putting people over. All shout outs to him. Big shout outs to Jamie Hayter and Alex Windsor, obviously in their own rights. Now, I would love if these two, hypothetically, we're having a little feud, maybe, with the, goddamn. Now, hypothetically, if these two were their own individual, and they had a best of 5 series with a particular TBS champion, maybe if Jamie Hayter decided that she wanted a best of 7 with a particular women's champion, I don't know. Who would hate that? I wouldn't hate it. But again, we're putting women in the tag division, and it makes me want to blow up a residential area in Minecraft. But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. All we can ask is that Athena, our Rio, is going to save us from this. Bottom line, it's questionable. That's what we're gonna say. Bottom line, questionable booking. Okay. Last match on the card, or last couple of matches on the card that we will be discussing. All right. Beast Mortos versus the Kinetic Knight. All right. Kevin himself. This was very cool. I love the idea of Kevin just being able to again match the energy of everybody that he goes up against, which is surprising because for a big guy, Beast Mortos moves flawlessly. He moves like a man possessed, and I really can't get enough of it. Mercedes is doing some really great politicking back there. Love to see it. He also gets a Euro lawyer chance. Love a good interactive crowd. Love a crowd with a good sense of humor. I liked everything about this match, including the end. I think Kevin Knight has one of the best UFO. I think Kevin Knight has one of the best frog splashes in the business. Call me ignorant, but I was looking at this match and I quite literally thought of Leo Rush versus Kevin Knight. Right, I thought of matches like an AR Fox versus a Montez Ford. I thought of such grandiose things, right? Like a Bandino and an Axiom. Like my mind, it really just the floodgates were opened, and I don't know. I think sometimes difference, like sometimes I think that borders are just tools created by man to create profit, and I can't imagine. The profit that would be spilling from the collaboration of AEW and WWE one of these days. And I couldn't imagine it because it would truly be that great. And oh man, I don't think it's ever going to come. I don't think it's ever going to come. But all we can do is hope. All we can do is hope, right? If you would have told me that if you would have told me, when I was 13 years old, tuning into Spike TV every Monday, that the TNA, X Division champion that the TNA Knockouts Women's Champion would be on, WWE's Third Ring developmental show, I would have told you that you're crazy. You need to jump off of a building. But, it does seem that you would have been right. So, anything can really happen. And literally anything can fucking happen. We are quite literally in the worst timeline. And, quite anything can fucking happen. All right, we're gonna get off of that as quick as we can. Hangman feuding with MJF again just made me think about the Trios Championships and Kevin Knight when he could be a Intercontinental Championship contender. He could be having like a best of 3 with Mox right now, but he's the Trios champ. So yeah. Maybe I'm a mark. Maybe I'm a belt mark just like Tony, right? Because I just keep booking belt matches, right? I just keep booking stories around belts. But I feel like if that's going to be the top of the company, if that's going to be like, hey, this is where you are in this company. You are a champion, right? And if we're going to give people that, then give them best of 3s. Like, make this shit an actual competition. Like, have people believe that, hey, all it took was 2 seconds and we could have a new champion because that's how close the competition is in this company, right? I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I don't think any real wrestling fan would hate the idea of, you know, a good match getting a part 2, you know, with a good build, you know, with a good hype around it. I don't think that'd be terrible at all, right? Last little match that we will be talking about. I shouldn't say little, because this is maybe one of the biggest fucking matches of the year, maybe of the month. People are arguing that this is in fact one of the best TV matches of all time. And honestly, hey man, hey, look at Elite. Hey man, look at the Elite being Elite, man. All right, All Elite Wrestling, you know, really giving people exactly what they asked for. Kenny Omega, the Cleaner, the Belt Collector, versus Swerve Strickland, whose house, the most dangerous man in All Elite Wrestling. That is what we got on Wednesday, and it was great. It was great. It was great. I mean, Unc Meltzer already put it at 5+ stars. Hey man, call it what you want. Call it woke raps. Call it whatever. The ending was it was fucking beautiful. Swerve, he found a way to circumvent all of Kenny's smooth, crisp offense. It was firing off on all cylinders. The second Swerve took an opportunity to get a fucking V-trigger hit on the referee, he took it in a heartbeat that left the playing field wide open. Swerve did heel tactics, and throughout the match, he was constantly getting booed. I mean, bro, he practically, in kayfabe, of course, Kenny's probably fine, took off Kenny's jaw with like 2 Swerve stomps, right? And oh man, he hits a cop killer through the mother. He hits a cop killer through the announce table, and in my head, I'm just like, dude, Swerve is tough. Swerve is tough. His mic work is getting crisp. You know, like I can't say, you know, sometimes he gets like a little shaky, a little shaky, you know, but you know, his size, he works as a powerhouse. Again, him rivaling Kenny with the size that Kenny is, like, these are 2 completely different beasts than what they were 5 years ago. And it's wonderful. It's fucking wonderful. I mean, you know, I will say Kenny Omega dies, but he dies for the good of the sport, you know? And I do think that he will be returning soon. It's possible that he may return before Revolution because he is superhuman with an O blood type and Omega blood cells. So I really do believe that he will be back in no time. Swerve is a really funny guy. He's very comedic. You know, he was just shouting at the camera after he literally murdered Kenny Omega. Like, I need this! I need this! And I'm like, Swerve, you won the match. Swerve, brother, you won the match, Swerve. Why are we yelling? Why are we shouting, Swerve? Oh man, Swerve is great. That was really funny. What I really liked though, no questions asked, was the amount of time that we got from the ending, right? Because everything played out beautifully, and we were able just to sit in the atmosphere of Kenny Omega just being distraught and being destroyed. It was a wonderful way to end this Dynamite, all right? And honestly, I had no complaints at all, all right? That is pretty much everything I have for you guys here, all right? It's been your boy Cappy, all right? That is everything for February 18th, 2026 Dynamite, all right? I do have a lot of other things going up for the week, all right? And I hope you all stay hydrated, all right? I hope you all stay healthy, and as I always say, stay tuned, stay safe, and stay beautiful. Peace.